Welcome to China AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrating to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on a little bell on site. So once we have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one getting all the insight. Now, today is a very busy day. Now, I'm gonna give you an update of the Far North Queensland. Now, Far North Queensland is not a state; it's a part of Queensland. The reason I'm giving you this update is I've received a notification from a skill assessing authority, Vet Assess, in regards to the assessment for the Dharma Program. Have you heard of DAMA? I've done some video previously. Obviously, due to the pandemic, it hasn't been heard much, but recently I think to revive those DAMA program will actually enhance more people to actually be working and sponsored in regional Australia. So let's jump in there and have a look with the detail. Okay, now, so obviously this document coming from the Assess Cairns Chamber of Commerce. So if you don't know Cairns, it's where if you want to go to Great Barrier Reef, you have to go to Cairns, the city of Cairns, which is at the Far North Queensland. Okay, so the Designated Area Migration Agreement, so-called DAMA, is where the government of Australia has designed in specific to tailor those industry in very far regions where the traditional or the general skill migration, or perhaps the current state nomination visa or whatever it is, cannot cover. So they have gone through a different area. Now, through the current government, it seems to be they are expanding the scenario, expanding the idea and utilizing this Dharma program. So Dharma program, if you do want to know more detail, you probably wanted to search 482 and space Dharma. It's under the 482 employment sponsor program. So you obviously then you will know you're required to be sponsored by an employer. So in this scenario, you need to be sponsored by an employer who is actually at the Far North Queensland, perhaps in Cairns. Okay, so if you love the place over there, I've been there a couple times. Beautiful air, beach, sunshine. The only disadvantage there is there's no winter. Anyhow, if you want like winter, buy a ticket, you travel to Brisbane or travel further down to Melbourne, you get that winter feeling. Okay, so but if you love summer, Far North Queensland is right for you. Okay, so Skill Assessing Authority Vet Assess basically saying that, look, they are taking the job to actually assess all the occupation required for the Dharma program there. So obviously, there are some occupation that never been assessed previously because some of the skill level is really or extremely low, but they still love it. If you do have those kind of skill and you're in Far North Queensland, perhaps in Cairns, you're welcome to go there. So this document lists a skill assessment criteria to occupation apply for Dharma Far North Queensland. Now I will take you to the Far North Queensland's Dharma program to get you into detail there as well. So and which is currently not available via the standard TSS because he needs to go through the labor agreement, which is basically Dharma. So okay, now non-ENSCO occupation. That means your occupation is not even in the ENSCO, not even in the Australian Occupation Dictionary. Okay, you cannot find it. So what are these ones? Have at least relevant bachelor. Okay, so non-ENSCO skill level 1 occupation outline table 1. Okay, we're gonna go take table 1. Have at least relevant bachelor degree and higher qualification. So you need to have at least bachelor, at least 1.5 year, 20 hours or more per week relevant experience, so 18 months. If applying for TSS or SESR, which stands for Skill Employment Sponsor Regional. Okay, anyway, or 3-year full-time experience if you're applying ENS. But under here, now the non-ENSCO is, I don't even know what this is. Marine Environment Interpreter. I don't know what it is. If you do know what it is, let me know. Okay, and for the NSCO skill level 3, table 2, you gotta have at least qualification framework of certificate 4 and have work experiences, again 20 hours, blah blah blah, 3 years, and these are cafe restaurant supervisor. It's not a manager, it's a supervisor. Okay, and diving instructor. Interesting. Okay, this is for tourism, although there's no tourism at the moment, and they of photography. So you go in there and take a lot of photo for example, deep ocean fishes and animals, and whatever it is, features, or photographs. Farm inspector, farm supervisor, and night auditor. Interesting. I'm not too sure what night auditor is. Okay, anyhow, let's move on. And for skill level 4, you need to have at least certificate 3 and 20 hours, blah blah blah, 3 years work experience, all that. So again, when you read this, some of them is said and, meaning that you need to have those experiences, and this is and. Now if you go down here, it says or, means either one. Okay, either one, you can pick them, and then you can be passed on that skill assessment. So this bartender, brewer, housekeeper, supervisor, waiter, that's something that I understand. Some of the occupation up on the first page, I just don't have a clue of what it is. And this one in the level 4, certificate 3, age disability carer, dental assistant, nursing supporting worker, preschool A, personal care assistant, and then we're coming down to further down to table 5. We got tour guy. All right, cool. If you want to be a tour guy and you want to migrate, that's the place you need to go. So, and then you need to have what? You need to have certificate 2, at least work, experiences of 3 year full time, and all these detail. Basically, if you have those experiences, you need to lodge the VSS, get your skill assessment done, and in order to actually get over for a Dharma program in Far North Queensland. So there's even forklift driver. I think they're ready for the opening up of Australia. But look, we're still in phase 1 at the moment. So I think this is more for phase 3. So we're talking about next year, but we'll let you have a look first. Now further down to level 5, commercial housekeeper. So that's you go there and clean up stuff in hotels, a food tray assistant, fruit and nuts farm worker, fruit picker and things. So you see, those kind of stuff is beautiful. Okay, it's very easy, but again, it's very limited because there's not a lot of these kind of opportunities. So what is FNQ DAMA? It's a designated area migration agreement, formal agreement between Australian government and regional state. So basically agreed by federal government and the Far North Queensland Chamber of Commerce, Cairns. Also, this is signed back in 2019 April. Obviously, then 2020 we got hit by the virus. So anyhow, we're gonna go through the detail of how you can actually get this done. So a very important thing I wanted to point out here is that I will go to this web page. Does the applicant need a skill assessment for Dharma? Very important things. Now, obviously, I have stressed so much and many times in my channel, if you want to do skill assessment, or you want to become a skill migrant, skill assessment is very vital. Okay, now, the first sentence is very interesting. It says a skill assessment is not required when a business make a request to DAR for endorsement. Now, what is DAR? I'm going to take you there. That is basically the local authority. Now, you got to let this local authority come to you. Now, the employer go to request it from this local authority in Far North Queensland, and then they'll go, all right, no problem. We don't need skill assessment. Done. Let's get it through. Then you don't need it. But it's a very, very unusual circumstances. Otherwise, they won't even create such, process anymore. Okay, so it has to be a very extreme circumstance. Okay, skill assessment is required for individual nominated lodge and FNQ Dharma occupation, so you still need to get it done. Okay, what is vet assessed skill assessment criteria chosen here? So obviously we have just gone through from the pages up there. I have already applied for skill assessment under another Dharma. Can I use it? Okay, the outcome better occupation is criteria specific relevant Dharma region. Please contact. Now you need to contact the local authority to find out whether or not that can be done. You'll be notified of progress. And can you change occupation? Of course, if you do have multiple skill set, no problem. How long does it go? The validity of the assessment is 3 years. That's the same as all the other type of stuff. So that's basically what it is for vet assessment. I'm going to take you into the Far North Queensland's website. So what you need to do is you can actually Google this. You can find this. And obviously they want you to subscribe to their webpage. Obviously they don't have a YouTube channel, but anyway you probably will get more information, but I'm here to actually update you all this information when I got all these things. So what's happening here? They are putting more occupation and skills in, so they want more people. Although we are in a phase 1 so-called pandemic time, where basically overseas skilled migrant cannot even travel into Australia, but they are looking into planning ahead of everything else. So they're extending, okay, and removing 32 occupation on the list, and addition 110. I'm not too sure why they do that. Why don't they just say we are amending with expanded occupation table, whatever it is they're trying to say. But anyway, that's what they're trying to, express right here. Okay, so next page, I'm gonna show you here is the actual procedures. I will take you to the detail later on. So first of all, the employer who wishes to employ you, they need to approach DAR. So what is DAR? DAR stands for Designated Area Representative, and that's obviously the Far North Queensland. They need to approach this authority, this website's owner and the manager, whatever it is, managing all this, and they need to endorse it. They need to say, all right, cool, no problem, we'll take you in your business. We will register under Dharma, and you can sponsor X number of this occupation and this occupation, whatever it is. Okay, and then obviously you move on to second stage Dharma labor agreement request. That's going through a request to with the together with the DAR, with immigration will come back, say yes or no. Okay, generally they'll say yes. If DAR say yes, and then immigration will say yes, then we lodge the visa, and that's it. So nomination and visa application. So that's the whole procedures. Now we come down here and have a look. I'm gonna take you to the information guide here, as that gives you more information there. Now job description on non-ANSCO occupation have been given a postcode, ANSCO 070499. I'm not too sure why they put this kind of number. So this farm supervisor, farm inspector, cafe supervisor, bartenders, waiter, housekeeper, brewer, and things like that. And there is a fee required. If you become a member, it's $770, and if not, $935. So we'll take a look at what those things are now. Okay, now these are the detail. So basically it's not really a great design document, but it consists of parts 1, 2, 3. So we need to get all these 3 parts done. Okay, now part 1 says FNQ, Dharma, and how it works. So Cairns Chamber of Commerce, the chamber, is the designated area representative, DAR. Okay, and obviously for the Far North Queensland Dharma Program, you should first read and ensure understanding information of Cairns Chamber of Commerce website. Now, which we have just gone through. Note that engaging overseas worker under FNQ Dharma is a 4-stage process. Although there's only part 1 to 3, but there are 4 stages. So that's what we have gone through of this diagram here. Okay, now making requests seeking endorsement of the AR will to be able to access to FNQ, DAMA, and request enter into labor agreement to come over to Australia, which is we just explain all that together. You can only access to labor agreement under FNQ, DAMA if you're first being endorsed. Of course, you don't need to keep on repeating that. DAR cannot require Commonwealth to agree to enter labor agreement with you and will not be party to any such a labor agreement. So, purpose of a labor agreement now, that's a technical, legal stuff. I'm not gonna go through with that. It's basically an agreement between the business owner or the company and the government. So that's it. As simple as that. Okay. Noting assessing labor agreement under FNQ DAMA is circumstances where there's a genuine significant demand of worker. That's pretty obvious. Overseas worker, it could not otherwise be sponsored under standard skill visa. So that's 4A2 or stay nomination, things like that. So we seen this diagram. So let's go through stage 1. Okay, DAR. Endorsement. This is undertaken by Cairns Chamber of Commerce of DAR. You cannot proceed to stage 2 if you haven't got endorsed. To see endorsement, complete the request endorsement form, and obviously that's for the employer to actually get that done. The endorsement is valid for 1 year, so if you continue to want to do it, you need to get it done every year and onwards. Now stage 2, requesting labor agreement. If you're endorsed, then you apply. You can then apply for a labor agreement online with the usually I think it's still in as an email form. You need to email them. There's specific agreement, and you just insert your company name, things like that. Instruction. It's better that you put this into a professional lawyers or somebody who is capable, understand this type of stuff, or perhaps you wanted to see service through us. We can facilitate that as well. Requesting labor agreement including meeting mandatory legislative requirement, which is obviously a deed. It's an agreement that you cannot really change much, and there are specific detail in there you have to obey with, otherwise they won't sign it. This includes evidence of your genuine try recruit Australian labor market and LMT. So that's basically meant you cannot find local to actually work for you. Okay. One signs up to 5 years. Generally specify how many occupation and position that you can actually apply. So you have that detailed there, and then you need to provide a valid DAR endorsement later to the immigration. Now then stage 3 will be pretty easy. You just nominate who you want to nominate. Now the only issue that it doesn't spells out is that the time process to go through this, I don't think it's gonna take for less than a month, because having an agreement done, it's a major work, and also going through a DAR, it can be quick, but again you need to demonstrate a lot of documentations. So if you're an employer in Far North Queensland, you want to do this, perhaps you wanted to really plan ahead, because this new one is coming up for, I think next week will be available for all the new Dharma, although there's no it's not allowed for overseas travelers to go into Australia at this point in time, but you may want to get this prepared and done prior to everything else. Okay, so nomination and visa, that's pretty straightforward. Important concept and unique FNQ DAMA is stage 1 and 2 are about business need, occupation, number of occupation that require. That's the same for every other DAMA as well, and you get that agreement for 5 years, and it's expanded occupation list. So if you really want to work there, it's good for you to go there. Part 2 instructions submitted FNQ DAMA endorsement request. So I'm not gonna go through this detail because it's credit card authorization form. And you need to provide those detailed of the business financial images and photos and things like that. And number 3, technical relevant matter relating FNQ. So this DAR will only consider if you're operating there. Now this I think that we'll leave this to the professional to deal with. This is going to a little bit too detailed. And finally, let's check out the updated occupation list. So this, if you look at this, the most important thing that I want to show is that it's effective on 18th of June 2021. Why they picked that date? Not too sure why. Why didn't they just go into the new financial year? I don't know. Probably the Far North Queensland don't even follow how the national calendar works, and they pick on the middle of June. I don't know. Okay, anyway, as you can see, the most important thing that people want to see is on the table is at the far right. Why? Because it gives you vacant access to permanent residency, because some of them, I'm not too sure any of them will have not take. Oh, well, here we go. There's commercial housekeeper. You cannot become a permanent resident. So why would you do it? And here we go. There's another 3. Food train assistant. Fruit pickers cannot be there. Okay. Although you can be sponsored, you can work there, but you cannot become. And here we go. The farm workers. Okay. Livestock workers. You can work there unlimitedly, but unfortunately, you cannot become permanent resident of Australia. Okay, so I won't go through the whole detail. You might want to access by yourself. All you need to do is type in FNQ, Dharma, occupation list, or you will lend yourself page there, and you may be able to find whether or not you can actually access. Now, it's very interesting where they said Dharma is utilized to actually for people who cannot apply for the general migration or employment sponsor. Now, but we still see, for example, registered nurse here. But people go, but registered nurse can go sponsored by state government, things like that. But again, the only thing here, if your age is over 45, you see, because if you're over 45, you cannot do the ENS, you cannot do the 190 or 491. Now here, you can actually get that through, but then you have to work in Far North Queensland. Okay, so this is for the updates of DAMA in Far North Queensland. What is your thought? Why don't you leave a comment right down below, and I see you next video. Goodbye.